5K at Penn State Harrisburg's campus.
YTI, fast, affordable career training.
How do I turn back the clock?
If you have an hour, we'll show you how to drop over a decade in your face. Then,
When does a person's love for plastic surgery cross the line from hobby into a full-blown addiction?
I'm currently a triple L, and I want to go to a triple Q.
Why this extreme?
plus,
Here's what's breaking in today's News in 2.
Sofia Vergara's battle with her ex over frozen embryos. Demi Lovato's embarrassing autograph encounter. All new on The Doctors.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show today. While time travel sadly doesn't exist just yet, that sure doesn't stop most of us from asking that age-old question, how do I turn back the clock on my face?
My mom definitely showed a great example on taking care of herself, but we both definitely have this issue.
The worst part of my face, I feel, is like over here, like the bags under my eyes.
I'm one of those people that every day someone's like, oh, you look when I had like 10 hours of sleep.
I'd like to look like 10 years younger. I don't know if that's possible, but it would be nice.
I don't think that I look older than my age, but I do think that in today's society, nobody really looks their age anymore. So I kind of feel like if you can't beat them, join them.
I'm sitting here getting a cosmetic procedure.
One of the biggest fears that a lot of my patients have is that they're going to look different. I don't want people who are observing you to be able to put their finger on what was done. I'm marking an area called the zygomatic arch. I'm going to give you a little pinch, and this is a really beautiful area of the cheek to enhance, and it's just creating a nice lift. And that's sort of what this whole experience is going to feel like. This is Dysport, and it's purified protein that basically relaxes the muscles. So it interrupts the signal going from the nerves to the muscles so that the muscles don't contract and pull on the skin, creating wrinkles. Everything's just lifting in front of my eyes. It's really nice. I'm going to be coming into this corner here to give you a little bit of a lifting effect there, because right now the corner seems to be turning down. So it almost looks like you have little misses actually go down within the next few minutes. I'm going to do a little bit right into the eye hollow right over there, and then you're done. You're all set. You're all done. Thank you. All right.
What do Carrie and her mother, Shelley, look like today? Well, you're going to have to stick around because later in the show, we're going to reveal the results of their Drop a Decade makeovers. But first, we move from a mom and daughter who want younger-looking faces to some viral photos that depict younger faces looking older.
When a baby is born, parents and loved ones often try to figure out who the baby looks like. Sometimes it becomes clear that baby looks like grandpa. No, it's not that the little one has grandpa's eyes. It's just that, well, the baby looks like an old man. Recently, the social networking site Reddit has gathered a collection of photos of babies that look like little old men. Little old men. These grumpy-faced newborns have become an internet sensation, but the phenomena begs the question, why do babies so often look like old men?
Well, that's the beauty of babies, is you catch them in the perfect light with the perfect expression. Any way you want.
But they do
like old men.
Why is that?
A little bit.
I guess because they're scrunching their face.
Their heads get smushed when they come out. They're pointy.
And also, I mean, some of these babies look like they may be a little premature to my obstetrician eyes, so the fat isn't as deposited in the face as maybe a full-term baby would be.
The action of those muscles, I mean, you can see the contraction of all those, the frontalis, the procerus, the corrugator, all these frown muscles.
Oh, wait, he has the angry face look.
He needs a neck lift.
He needs Botox. You know what makes me sad about this, though, too? When my grandmother was at her final age, there was something very baby-like about her. So when we're at the final end, we look like babies, and we're in the very beginning, we look like old people.
And then we meet in the middle.
And then that last photo, I mean, that little baby had forehead lines.
I was going to say, that baby has more wrinkles than I do.
Yes, he
And I love that baby for it.
That's so cute.
He's a thinker.
And they're bald, so that's why they look like some old men. Some.
Look at those muscles.
So cute.
All I know is whoever's posting these baby pictures, better hold on to them because these are going to be pure gold when these babies grow up.
Totally.
Okay, so it's a big-time dilemma that we talk about as adults. When you got to go, but do you use that public restroom? And what is the appropriate age for our next scenario?
A printed notice on a women's bathroom door at an Oklahoma shopping mall recently created a storm of debate with moms on the internet. It reads, "Please, boys over 6 years of age use men's restroom. Thank you." Many moms have criticized the policy is arbitrary. Some moms think more public places should have gender-neutral family restrooms so moms and dads can accompany young sons and daughters without controversy. But the question remains, what age should children use public restrooms alone?
Hard question.
I confess I'm the reason.
Are you still going into the
women's restroom in this mall? I'm sorry.
Until when? Last week?
Well, 43.
I mean, there's at my gym, they actually have a family-changing area, and there are signs all over the place. We expect a gender to be in the locker room with that gender parent, and I've actually seen women go up to another mom and say that your son should not be in here, and it's a little boy. And
I know the dad isn't there to take the little boy.
No, they're a family changing room, so they can be in a family.
So the family is there with them because 6 years old is too young to leave alone. You don't say, okay, go into the men's room.
Heck no.
No way.
Especially some of these men's restrooms, which are dungeons.
You know, my son asked, probably around the age of 7, that he wanted to go into the bathroom. He was not comfortable coming in with me.
And you said, fine, I'll take you into the men's room.
No, but I did. It was worse. He preferred because I would stand out there screaming, mash my lungs, down the whole thing, and it was humiliating for him either way. But I had a lot of anxiety about sending him.
Don't we have to relax a little bit? I mean, we got to do what's best for them, what they're most comfortable with.
And guess what? If you're taking a little boy into a woman's room, there's stalls anyways. He's behind a closed door.
No, then he comes out, washes his hand. You can hear his voice yapping in there, and
so what?
I don't know. I feel like if you're, if you're a mom and there's a young boy in the bathroom, how can another mom have a problem with that? If the boy is 17, that's a different story.
Yeah, a 6-year-old boy is not sexualizing a woman in the women's restroom.
Right. But they're noticing I'm playing devil's advocate. I would have kept my boy till,
last week.
I'm scared. Now I don't. Now he's taller than I am and bigger than I am, so he can fend for himself. But I'll tell you, I had serious anxiety.
I think common sense is really what we need in a story like this. And let's feel comfortable. Let's move on to something that I love talking about, and that is breast milk facial.
Breast milk is nature's nourishment for your newborn, and most doctors agree those first few months of life. So logically, if it's so good for a baby's health, it must also be good for adult faces? Or so one Chicago salon claims. The Mud Salon in Chicago offers its clients the option of breast milk facials. The breast milk comes from local moms and is medically screened before slathered onto skin. Could this become the latest spa trend? Or should the baby's milk be thrown out with the bathwater?
I'll tell you right now, breast milk, it's popular for a lot of things, but a facial, we have Shama Patel, the owner of Mud Salon in Chicago, join us via Polycom, where this facial is indeed offered. Now, I have to ask how this idea even came about.
The idea came about, I was getting ready to open my facial bar, and I really wanted some exotic materials that would be beneficial to the skin. So I basically started researching, found them on mommy blogs, and saw a lot of mommies were using breast milk to cure skin ailments. So that's where the idea came about.
Wow.
And so is this your own formulation, and in terms of the breast milk that you use, just curious how it's procured, etc.?
Sure. Basically, we do go to certified milk banks. So milk banks exist for one reason, which is women definitely want, women who really want to have breast milk for their children, but don't have a heavy supply of it, can go to these milk banks and purchase the milk directly from there. So that's where we get it. It is medically certified. The women are basically, that's how we get it.
We have to be clear, though, that these are anecdotal sort of reports and suggestions. There isn't any clinical evidence that applying breast milk to the skin actually improves healing.
We've talked about putting it in the eye to help things, and again, we didn't encourage
putting it into a baby's mouth.
That's an idea.
I mean, well, also, like,
it's a facial, so I'm glad you brought this up, though, because to me it's a facial, and Shama, it may seem like we're attacking you, which we're not at all. It's more of just, you know, obviously we don't want every person in America going home.
I mean, if you want to rub your own breast milk on your own face, if you have that much.
Well, I've had a breast milk facial. My wife gave me one inadvertently when she was breastfeeding, so
so good.
I guess it worked. That one facial, and
Shama, we appreciate you joining us. Best of luck.
Shama, put me on the list. I'm there for opening day.
You're number one on the wait list.
So when does a person's love for plastic surgery cross the line from hobby into a full-blown addiction? And what happens when your entire family doesn't agree with the extreme life goal you set for yourself? Well, that's Lacey's story.
I got my first surgery when I was 23. I was a teen mom, and I had no education because I had left school to care for children. I was waitressing, and all the other girls had breast implants. So I went to the hospital, got my boobs done, and went from an A. It absolutely changed my life. My money quadrupled. Then when I moved to Las Vegas, I started modeling, dancing, so many commercials. That's when I started pumping my boobs up bigger. From the time I was 24 years old to the time I was 30, I went to a triple K. I think it was like a headline on a magazine, The Human Barbie. It's something that the world has pegged me as. I've been under anesthesia 46 times. I've had my eyes made bigger, lip lift, 6 silicone lips injections, lipo of my neck, 12 breast augmentations, 4 or 5 reconstructions in between. I have pigskin bra implanted into my chest, pigskin corset, 2 tummy tucks, full body lipos, 4 Brazilian fat transfers, liposuction in or out of thighs, tummy, arms, legs, back. But my feet are the same. I have 6 children. Surgery's been a part of my life, so it's kind of been a part of theirs. The older ones get scared. I think they're worried. Since I started doing surgery, I've been able to care for my children. I've been able to start helping them go to school. Don't get me crying, they're all growing up. Now I'm planning another surgery. I'm currently a triple L, and I want to go to a triple Q. I'm going for the Jessica Rabbit look with the Barbie face. And I'm going for the most extreme body on the planet. I'm thinking about my nose redone, a mini facelift, butt implants. I don't think that I'll ever stop having surgery. Probably going to be that lady that answers the door to the pizza guy when I'm like 70 in a bikini just to show someone my body.
Return.
Coming up next, is the human Barbie putting her life at risk?
I'm going for the Jessica Rabbit look with the Barbie face. And I'm going for the most extreme body on the planet.
And later, toddlers drinking coffee. The doctors break down the shocking trend.
There's absolutely zero data on what caffeine can do to a 2-year-old.
Later, amazing interventions.
It's incredibly concerning to us to see a child that's 9 years old, headed in only one direction.
Amazing cures.
Can you imagine being able to treat cancer without
amazing recoveries?
You help me live. I have my life still.
All day long. Monsanto, the company making is under fire.
Cancer associated with food raises concerns.
And only coming to the doctors to answer the tough questions.
I'm here as a scientist, and I'm also a mom.
And you feel 100% comfortable knowing that every day of your children's life they're being exposed to this.
Amazing discoveries.
Some doctors are becoming cosmetic surgeons in a weekend.
Amazing issues.
Amber Rose just campaigning against sexual bullying.
No one is ever going to get me down ever again.
And the winner of our amazing $1 million healthy...
The biggest giveaway in daytime television history.
Prepare to...
See myself without any surgery, with brown hair. I think I was beautiful then. I think I'm beautiful now. I don't feel that I've changed who I am on the inside. I've just changed what the world sees on the outside. A triple K with the body of 110 pounds is very extreme. Women go that big. Not very many doctors will touch a girl and go that big. But when I went mega boobs, the world stood up and took notice. I have a love affair with plastic surgery because of what it does for me. I do not have any regrets.
In the front row to discuss her controversial story are Lacey and one of her children, 27-year-old son, Silas. We also have psychotherapist Dr. Jen Mann joining us to discuss these issues. And Lacey, I'm going to ask the obvious question. Sure. Why? Why this extreme? Why the quote, I want to have the most dream body in the world?
This is what I do for a living. I just finished a movie. I'm getting ready to start another one. I'll probably be sitting in your shoes soon. You were in reality TV. Now you're on a talk show, so I'm going to be doing the same thing.
Well, but
yeah.
But,
you wanted the answer. I gave it to you.
Well, so you say that the reason you do this is for your career. I'll ask your son, just because obviously you care about your mother. Do you buy that?
I mean, she loves, making the money. She loves the appearances, but it's everything that comes with the surgery that, all the followers, everyone recognizing her everywhere, that she really enjoys that part.
But Silas, what do you, when you look at your mom, what goes through your mind now as an adult about what she has done and plans to continue doing to her body?
That she has put herself in a lot of danger. And every time she goes under the knife, every time she goes under anesthesia or gets something done, it really frightens me. It really worries me.
And Dr. Mann, I mean, it's all about attention, right? But she's on a self-destructive path.
Absolutely. To me, it's very troubling that you've made a career of basically having an eating disorder and body phobia, and that your goal is to have the most, I believe you put it, the most extreme body. And to me, in my book, that's self-mutilation. And that I understand saying like, hey, I want to have perkier boobs or bigger boobs, but your goal isn't about that. Your goal is about being the most extreme possible.
Absolutely.
And you're putting your life and your health in jeopardy by doing that. You can speak to that.
There is no question that you're already in time bombs surgeries that you've already have. Implants this big are not good for you. I mean, you're carrying a lot of weight that is not good for your...
But Lacey, I want to correct one thing, because you haven't diagnosed me as a doctor. I have actually went to a psychiatrist. I went yesterday, because I am getting ready to have some more surgery next week. I don't have body dysmorphic disorder, number one. Number two, yes, what I'm doing is not something that everyone wants to do. Some people choose to be doctors. Some people choose to be police officers and firemen. They put their life on the line every day. This is something I have chosen to do. If I die in a car accident, I'll be very unhappy. If I die on a table, asleep, getting surgery, I'll be pretty
I'm just curious, you got a psychiatric consultation because you're having surgery.
And that person wants to greenlight her to get the surgery.
Was this at the request of your...
This was at a request of the surgeon, but I've already done it before.
To cover his own ass.
Of course.
No, it's actually not to cover his ass.
Let me ask you a question. I know what it is. I want to take things from the psychological and even the surgical right now, just to the personal. Okay, sure. Mother to mother. When you become a mother, our responsibility is the development of another human being.
Yes, and I have 6.
Right. And you have 6 human beings that you are responsible for.
Correct.
At the very least, if you die undergoing elective, excessive, whatever you want to call it, surgery, you are leaving them without a mother. Yes. What kind of message does that send? And I just want to share something with you, because I do want to hear your opinion as a mother. I will tell you as a mother, okay, just personally, I have 4 scuba diving certifications. 4.
See, I would never do
that. Well, guess what? Scuba diving stopped, okay? Because my children need me here. And I will say that even though your children are adults, they need you. And are adults, they need you.
You know what else they need? They need to live. They need a place to live. They need food on the table. So, guess what? That's what I
ask Lacey, what, you have daughters, right?
I have 3.
Have they had any plastic surgery, and what would your reaction be to them
Well,
if
actually,
they wanted
one had. I won't speak for them, but none of them. I don't think that my middle daughter ever will, and my youngest daughter is way too early to even think about something.
But
like
what
that.
would your reaction be if they wanted to
If it was
pursue
something
this?
that made them feel better about themselves, so they could go out and be a productive adult, of course I would let them have surgery. If my daughter felt that her nose was too big, or if she needed something done that she wanted and it made her feel better about herself, absolutely. Tell me right now, how many of you guys have had Botox? Your nose, one of you.
But
every one of you. You've never had Botox.
But this is not about whether.
Oh, okay.
But this is not about whether we are pro plastic surgery.
At all.
Against it. I think everyone here is probably for it.
Of course.
The concern is the extreme in it too.
And the reasons they're doing it.
I believe that you have more to offer this world than just big boobs.
Yes.
So, Lacey, I want to move on from the plastic surgery to you're truly trying to get your body to a place that is extreme, that has nothing to do with health. I want to address this desire for zero waste where in the last 6 weeks, your daily diet has been an apple, lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and you acknowledged feeling very dizzy.
I did for the first week, on and off.
And you realize that this is extreme in a completely different way.
Right. I just need the extra skin. So my skin is stretched out, so the more weight I lose, the looser my skin gets. So I just needed the extra skin.
Lacey, and so you understand why your children are worried about you, right? Because I hear you and I understand all your justifications, but to me, don't listen to us as much as
Silence.
I'm not saying don't listen to us.
You and your siblings asked her to put a stop to this?
I mean, I've asked tons of times, but I mean, you guys are telling her to stop. She's a force of nature.
No, I want to ask Jen. Jen, is it true, if I remember my psychiatry from medical school, that the textbook clinical definition of psychosis is impaired judgment and reality testing? I mean,
I wouldn't call this psychosis.
No, but there's clearly an impaired judgment when someone says, I will undergo 47 plus general anesthesia. We know patients can die on the table.
Yes.
And you're a beautiful woman. You're a mother of 6.
Yes.
Why do you need to keep going?
I think
It's very eating disordered thinking. And I wrote my doctoral dissertation on eating disorders. Been there. I had an eating disorder myself. I've been eating disorder free for decades. And when you talk about someone who's just having an apple and pepper, I mean, that's really unhealthy behavior.
And there are a lot of times in life when you get back to one word, which is autonomy. And it's obvious to me, Lacey, that as your son said, you're a force of nature. So the only thing I would ask of you is I don't think we've done anything to dent or change your opinion.
No, probably not.
Maybe we've made you more defined. When you go to bed tonight, there are no cameras on you. I want you to think about what we talked about, because the truth is you're going to kill yourself eventually. You are. So clearly, Lacey, you've raised good kids.
I have great kids. I have amazing kids. Been lucky.
They care about you. They love you. They want their mother around for a long time. So listen.
And you know what? I'm tough as nails. I'm going to be there. Don't worry.
Jen, man, always a pleasure. Thanks for your input. We'll be right back.
Coming up next, toddlers drinking coffee. The doctors break down the shocking trend.
There's absolutely zero data on what caffeine can do to a 2-year-old.
And later, a follow-up to an intervention on one of our own doctors. That's later. Coming tomorrow. She has hundreds of tumors all over her body.
Nothing can be done about it.
Until now.
What did the biopsy show?
Plus, stress killed her teeth. Now the doctors give her back.
Parents struggle to get their toddler to fall asleep at a reasonable hour. Here's some obvious advice. Tell your kid to cut down on the coffee. According to a recent study in Boston, about 15% of 2-year-olds are drinking as much as 4 ounces of coffee a day. Why are some moms and dads giving their very young children coffee? And more importantly, how is it affecting their...
As if the terrible 2s aren't hard enough already. Now parents are giving their kids coffee? What?
The last thing you want is a kid to be even more amped up.
Yeah,
I think caffeine is a neurostimulant.
Well, and I'm guessing, based on my palate when I was 2, that this isn't really coffee.
No.
This is the milkshake version of Chinoville, like the old.
My sister did it for me.
Sugar.
Just a little drop to give it a little bit of taste.
In like a milkshake?
Well, no, in my bottle.
Wait,
I guess.
really?
That's what my sister says. Maybe that explains my addiction, obesity, diabetes, depression, and sleep disorders. No.
Caffeine in your breast milk?
No, in a bottle.
Coffee is not inherently bad for us. I think that's really important.
And they're
People apologize. It is a drug because caffeine is a stimulant, but as a stimulant. But I think it's important, number one, not to apologize for people who like to drink coffee. You don't need to apologize. I do think that a 2-year-old is too young. So I think you have to make a decision because I think we all agree that we're thankful in many ways that we didn't start drinking coffee
till later.
There's absolutely zero data on what caffeine can do to a 2-year-old, okay? We know their sleep, but we don't know what the long-term effects are. And if they're drinking coffee, what are they not drinking? Milk.
So an idea. Let's stop the breast milk facials. Let's keep breast milk feeding our kids. One thing we do not typically associate with longevity involves a word called doctor, but this senior credits her secret in this bottle.
Today, a Fort Worth woman is celebrating her 104th year of life. She has a lot of stories to tell, and she's not afraid to treat herself despite the wishes of her doctor.
103, I didn't think I'd make it, and it's still perking along.
At 104 years old, Elizabeth Sullivan says she doesn't need the advice of real doctors, so she keeps another doctor close by.
People try to give me coffee for breakfast. Well, I'd rather have a Dr. Pepper. I started drinking them about 40 years ago, 3 a day, and it sees me, says it'll kill you, but they die and I don't, so yeah, there must be a mistake somewhere.
She's outlived all her doctors.
Bless her little heart, right? But look, we can't associate
Blessed with some amazing genetics.
Let's not start drinking soda to make the 100-year mark.
She says she's drinking 3 a day. I mean, if that's her total sugar intake.
That's a lot of sugar.
We should just give up then. Everyone right now watching the show is like, you doctors don't know what you're talking about. But I think it gets back to there are certain individuals out there. Gosh, I want those genes.
Those genes, no matter what she does, the genes are going to prevail.
I'd love to spend an evening with her and hear stories about, right?
She probably tired you out. And thin. Her skin looks great.
Her hands, I noticed her hands.
The soda has affected her teeth.
Teeth were brown, but her hands were that of a 60-year-old.
Well, you know what? She looks more than a decade young, 104. And next up, we're going to reveal our Drop a Decade makeover, so stick around.
Coming up next, a mother-daughter makeover to end all makeovers. And later, a secret food that could extend your life by...
If I look in the mirror, I don't look like as young as I really feel.
You wake up in the morning, you feel great, and then you go look in the mirror and you're like...
Dr. Bo is making us feel like it's going to be fun, and I do trust her, and I think it'll be great.
I see a lot of mothers and daughters, but usually they're looking to actually shave a couple of years off of their image. They sort of just keep each other company, and so this is not an uncommon scenario at all.
Mom and daughter duo Shelly and Carrie wanted to drop a decade from the appearance of their faces, so did it work? Well, we're here with dermatologist Dr. Whitney Bowe, who helped in achieving their new looks. Are we ready to see them?
Yes.
So this is what they look like before. Shelly and Carrie, come on out and join us.
Mother and daughter now.
love how we talk on the show often about, yeah, you can't necessarily turn back the clock completely, but how long does it take to achieve a look like this?
How long? Well,
Yeah.
with Shelly, it took about an hour, and with Kay, I would say about 15 to 20 minutes.
Really? So this is all minimally invasive, what you did to achieve that result.
Sure. So with Shelly, you know, the area that concerned her the most was really the under eye area. She felt like the under eye area, she felt like there were bags. It made her look tired all the time. So I actually tackled that area using a two-step approach. First, I used a product called Juvederm Voluma, and I placed that product actually on the bone across the entire cheekbone, and that created a very dramatic but very natural lift in her face. And then the next step, I took Restylane, which is another sugar gel, and I placed just tiny amounts right into what we call the tear trough, that little hollow right under the eye. And the combination of those two products just made her look like she'd been on vacation, a great night's sleep.
And I'm telling you, it shows.
Let's welcome Carrie. So what do we do for this gorgeous young lady?
The beautiful Carrie actually had a very similar complaint. What really surprised me is that Carrie told me that she had actually spoken to a number of different doctors who said that there was nothing they could do under her eyes. They said, you know, your under eye is just areas puffy and it's a little crepey looking, and you're just going to have to live with that. So, you know, I was very happy to prove
Not
them
in
wrong.
2015, Carrie. You don't have to live with that.
I was very pleased to prove those doctors wrong. So I used a very similar approach for her under eye as well. And then the other thing with Carrie was just the fine lines around her forehead area. And also, if you look at her before, her eyelids, her upper eyelids were getting a little bit heavy, just making her look a little tired. So again, just using those strategic injections of the Dysport, I was able to smooth out the forehead and just give her almost a little tightening effect in her upper lids, almost reshaping her brows. Very natural, very subtle.
And Carrie, beyond how you're not enjoying looking at your before picture, I see
No idea.
but you're clearly happy as well with the results.
I'm very happy.
Two happy customers. Very nice. I would say two great results. I would say minimum decade off the appearance. Dr. Bo, thank you so much. Carrie, we appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Coming up next, a follow-up to an intervention on one of our own doctors. That's next.
Here's what's breaking in 15. We all need checkups from time to time, and yes, that includes even us doctors. So our next guest, who is the subject of our sugar intervention, is actually none other than our very own Dr. Jen Berman. Jen, you're getting 168 pounds of sugar just as drinks alone. So what we're going to do is we're going to wean you off of sugar.
Wean me. Okay,
And
so I can have one a day.
No. We're going to follow Dr. Jen's progress through the rest of the season. And I know you can do it.
This is way harder than I thought. If I don't have something, I just start, shoving cookies, candies in my mouth. One of the things that's really been helpful to me and that I'm really thankful for is to Zen Foods. It comes to my house every night. So when I wake up in the morning, a little bag is out there. One thing that I eliminated was my frozen coffee drink with whipped cream on top. Throughout the day, I have these healthy. Since my sugar intervention, I have noticed that I'm sleeping better, less irritable and edgy, and my energy. These things are really great. Sweet, just sweet enough to stave off my craving. Now that I've broken the habit, why would I go back?
First off, I want to say how proud we all are of you. I don't think people realize emotionally how hard this decision was for you, so kudos.
Yeah.
I want to thank you. Thank Travis. I never, ever would have done this on my own. I never thought that it was possible. I mean, it was such a habit and such a routine. And I am grateful to Travis. He forced me. It wasn't willingly. It wasn't like I asked for it.
But let's talk about something that I think is really key that you alluded to, which is, number one, you look great, but your energy, you've talked about, and this is important, anyone out there who's addicted to sugar, controlling that addiction is so important because your energy, your mood,